Hello, I'm Lawrence and I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to words, specifically winter words. As we now approach the start of winter, I thought now would be a good time to wear my winter jacket indoors where it's 68 degrees. It was a bad idea. But hot on the heels of my first Vlogmas video in which I looked at some of those Christmas words that I only encountered after moving to America, I thought I'd do the very same thing but for winter words. Here are 5 winter words I only encountered after moving to America. You've heard me talk about it before. Winters in the Midwest are entirely unfit for humans, and that's partly because there's a lot of snow. Right? This was one of the first things I noticed after moving to the United States, but the second thing I noticed is that the news, weather, and media outlets couldn't just call it snow. That wasn't hyperbolic enough. Instead, when a particularly bad snowstorm was coming, news outlets here and in Canada decided to up the ante a little bit and use phrases like SNOWMAGEDDON, snowpocalypse, and my favourite, snowzilla. And when they do this, it's absolutely hilarious because they're trying to comically convey that it's going to be the end of the world. And when I hear these phrases, I wish it would be. And these are by no means the only euphemisms for snow that I've heard since moving to the United States. That brings us on to this. That's right, you'll often hear weather reporters refer to snow as the white stuff. And when I moved to America, this was really confusing for me because that was my pet name for dandruff. But whenever I hear it, all I can think is, what's wrong with the word snow? You know, sometimes it can feel like the American media thinks that the word snow is rude or offensive. But what is dirty about the word snow? Unless it's like this. Snurt is a very funny North American word that I discovered after moving to the US. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not in widespread use. But those that know it really like to show it. The word snurt is a portmanteau of snow and dirt. In other words, it's that hideous brown snow that you see at the side of the road. And funnily enough, I actually discovered this word while doing my first ever YouTube video, when, way back in 2015, I tried to guess the meaning of certain Midwestern words. It didn't go particularly well. It's snurt, which sounds like a portmanteau, doesn't it, of like skirt and sneeze. So I imagine that a snurt is sneezing up somebody's skirt. That can't be right. Funnily enough though, the word snurt has an entirely different meaning in Scotland, where it's used to describe a suppressed laugh or a sharp intake of breath. Kind of like me when I see somebody dressed in one of these. SNUGGIE, which is a brand name that admittedly has probably made its way to Britain by now. But when I first moved to America, these things seem to be all the rage. But what's a SNUGGIE? A SNUGGIE is basically a fleece blanket with sleeves. Which, you know, just goes to show that people really do wear the weirdest things indoors. Don't comment. And over the years, there have been similar brands like the Slankit. And my wife has a Christmas variation on one of these, and I often like to remark that she looks like a Christmas present. It's just wild in our house. Yes, nor'easter, which isn't a fancy way of saying not Easter, although I can see how that would be appropriate. No, but for an explanation of this, I'm going to hand off now to Lawrence Brown from earlier this year. Every great now and again here in the United States, you'll turn on the news and you'll hear that word that you haven't heard since the last time you heard it. And that word, almost always, is nor'easter, and every other word in the English language. But that word has cheated its way onto this list because it made it into American English via the Brit, who subsequently forgot about its existence. Well, I'm going to show off my acute knowledge of weather here by pointing out that it is a synoptic scale extratropical cyclone in the western North Atlantic Ocean. I read that on Wikipedia. But the serious, brutal truth of the matter is they can be quite deadly and can cause untold damage to power and people's homes. Thankfully, we don't have anything like that in the United Kingdom, although you will sometimes hear weathermen refer to those northeasterly winds that devastate your patio furniture. That's it for this episode. Let me know in the comments below your favourite winter word that I only discovered after moving to America. I'm Lawrence Brown. You can follow me on Twitter at LostInThePondUS, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that my videos don't get lost in the pond. A SNOWMAGEDDON-sized shout out to my patrons who make these videos possible. If you would like to become a patron of Lost in the Pond, you can do so today at patreon.com/LostInThePond. Until tomorrow's video, goodbye.